Welcome to the Lernerville Speedway for the 2008 season opener featuring the World of Outlaws late models.
The Kentucky Colonel, the defending World of Outlaw champion. First guard qualify.
And a 15:072 record that Darrell Lanigan has held for almost 3 years. So here we go, Dow.
Steve Francis. Second 3 times in World of Outlaw competition here in the top 5, 6 of the 8 World of Outlaw races run. Due for a win here at Don Martin's Lernerville Speedway, the action track. First lap time, 15.433. 15.433. Times are posted on the scoreboard in the infield. The same trick earlier, don't worry.
Yeah, it's the Kentucky Colonels. Steve Francis, your fast qual starts. They must be side by side at the line. And on single file starts, obviously the leader doesn't fire till they get to the line. If they don't, they were told in the driver's meeting, no chances, you'll go back right away. We want to make this show go along quickly, smoothly, and fairly for all drivers in competition. That beautiful #1 Cochran Automotive pace truck.
And on the second row, the 40 of Dutch Davies and Brian Squirrel Shirley into 3S.
So this is it. Top 4 advance in the first heat of the evening. Steve Francis and Boom Briggs, then Dutch Davies and Brian Shirley. Billy Moyer mid-pack in row number 3 with Lanigan. So let's see how this all transpires as they come out of turn 4. Francis and Boom on a hammer. Here we go.
The Kentucky Colonel from the pole. Good start. He's got the lead in 1 and 2. And Dutch Davies, who started third, slides into second.
So it'll be Francis, your leader, with Dutch Davies second, Boom Briggs third. Moyer's got the 4th and final transfer spot. They work out of turn number 4. Daryl Lanigan trying to find some grip along with Clint Smith, who are both mired mid-pack.
Brian Shirley 5th, Lanigan 6th. Then it is moving up into the next spot. Chris Hackett into 33. It's still Francis, Davies, and Moyer now 3rd off of 4.
And Brian Shirley starting to get a run now on Boom Briggs for the 4th and final transfer spot. Squirrel has a good bite. Moyer underneath Davies for 2nd. Shirley gets under the Boom for 4. 2 different positions change.
Billy Moyer like a dart off that second turn. We got a caution out.
Well, it's Jesse James now. Jesse Smith bringing out the caution at the bottom of 2.
Billy Moyer may have started in the 5th spot, but what an exit he had off that second turn on that last lap as Francis by himself.
Cars that cross the line will get counted that lap. Once caution has been called, we go back to the last scored lap. So how they were across the line on lap 2, the drivers that did not get the 05 champ, Billy Moyer. And he's been hot. 3 wins on the tour, leading the points, and having one heck of a 2008 so far as we come out of 4. Francis goes, Moyer and Brian Shirley, and Shirley looking for a good run here tonight. He's got it right now.
He slides a little bit in turn 2, though, and Dutch Davies goes by him for 3rd, dropping Shirley to 4th. It's Francis and Moyer 1 and 2. Off of 4, still the Kentucky Colonel spinning. Chris Hackett off the inside of turn 4.
So Hackett will bring out the yellow on lap number 4. The Roberts Trucking entry gets turned around in turn number 4. So this first heat race, I'm telling you, action-packed. You see Boom Briggs along with Cat Daddy and Daryl Lanigan all trying to get in. Dave Hess mired mid-pack.
The racetrack, because, boy, a bad qualifying lap can sink your ship in a hurry.
And you see that from starting spots in the heats where some of the guys you might...
Everyone wants to play by the same rules.
Well, they are lined up nice and tight behind Francis. It's up to him to fire. He gets on the hammer, and here we go. Dutch Davies working the outside of Moyer.
Yes, he goes 2 to the top into turn 1. He's got the momentum. He goes to 2nd, but he slips high in 2, and Moyer's back to 2nd, and now Shirley and Briggs close on Dutch for 3rd.
And Moyer used that new piece of racetrack down there to keep Dutch Davies at bay. Because Davies is under attack from Boom Briggs along with Daryl Lanigan. A good battle for the 4th and final transfer spot.
Into 1 and 2, it's still Shirley 3rd, Davies 4th, and Briggs, Lanigan, and Cat Daddy in the middle of the pack. Francis out in front, Moyer 2nd. The scramble continues for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Cat Daddy had a solid momentous run out of turn 4, only to come up a little short due to the slower car. Boom Briggs and Cat Daddy side by side. Lanigan disposes of Dutch for 4th. So Daryl Lanigan's night has gotten a little better.
He is now into a transfer spot, and I mean, he drove that car into turn number 3. Deep, deep, deep. It's Francis by 3 car lengths over Moyer. Then back a bit to Shirley, and now it's Dutch Davies trying to get back other Lanigan for 4th.
And Boom Briggs and Cat Daddy continue to go at it. Dave Hess Jr. throws his hat into the ring as a contender, so we have got a scramble for the number 4 spot.
Cat Daddy to 5th. We're less than 2 laps remaining here. Francis and Moyer into 3 and 4, coming for the white flag. 1 lap to go.
This is it, final time around the action track. It's Steve Francis with Moyer to the outside. Billy Moyer's going to make a run on him in turn number 3.
He's trying to high side through 3 and 4. They're wheel-to-wheel off a 4, checkered flag out, and who wins it? Moyer. Billy Moyer, your winner by eyes couldn't determine. It was that close. Moyer, Francis, Shirley, and Lanigan gets 4th. He stayed behind Francis on the low side of the racetrack. When the white flag came out, he went higher, grooving 1 and 2, made up some ground, and then went for it on the outside of 3 and 4. Billy Moyer wins over Steve Francis. Both will go into the peel draw for starting spots 1 through 8. The other 2 transfer spots, the 3 of Brian Shirley and the 29 of Daryl Lanigan. And T-Mac, and that was 4 1,000th, even closer than that. Heat race number 2 lines up like this. Alan Dellinger, a.k.a. Jim Dandy Jr. in the Blows Racing number 5 on the pole. Outside the Franklin Flyer, the 21 of Matt Lux. Row 2 from Ripley, New York, the 9K of Hollywood Mike Knight. It's Rick Scrub Eckert in the 24 from York, starting 4th. Chubbzilla, Chubb Frank, only 2-time winner with the World of Outlaws at Lernerville, goes 5th. Keith Barber out of South Park goes 6th in the 17. Row 4, the 3 of David Scott and the T8 of Mark Banal. Then it's the 4 of Alex Free and the 7J of Joe Isabel. H1, Jared Miley and the 4J of Jam and Johnny Mollick. And Tom Kitchen in the 17T looks like a scratch. Coming for the green flag. Dellinger in the 5, Lux in the 21. Off of 4, the green is out. Matt Lux, the Franklin Flyer from the outside of the front row, takes the lead into turn 1, dives to the bottom.
And look at Chubby wasting no time going 3 wide with Mike Knight and Eckert, and Chubbzilla has picked up 3 spots in 1 corner, so he goes to work with Eckert in tow. Isabel's on the lid. Joe Isabel got too low coming out of the backstretch, got it softly down up on the grass banking in turn number 3.
Got a little low going into 3, caught that curbing as the car was sideways, caught on the curb and gently, as you said, rolled onto its lid. He leading the Butler-built Rookie of the Year point standings.
Dow, he trashed one down at Pike County Speedway March 28th and 29th with a nasty 5-time overflip landing on the wall outside of turn number 3. This one here a little softer, but not the way he wants this deal to go. Joe Isabel has had his share of problems, but also his share of success, and this is one of them he's going to want to forget real quick.
A headache by the time he gets out of it.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It'll be a complete restart, by the way. Complete restart. The race is a great start by Chubb Frank. Runs pretty good here at Lernerville.
And the World of Outlaws Late Model Series will continue this stretch Friday and Saturday at the dirt track at Lowe's Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina for the 3rd annual Circle K Colossal 100. $50,000 going to the winner. 36-car starting field. And you guys will open up for your first night of regular point racing down here this Friday night with what I hear is 70-degree temperatures.
We got the sun today. Saturday we'll have the sun and the warmth. We're making progress. Should be a big field of cars and all that. Everybody's anxious to get going. It's been 3 Friday nights of either too cold to race or too wet to race. Last call for the Fireman's 50-50 safety raffle. We understand that Jeff is out of the car, or Joe, excuse me. which is towing. Able to catch the car, loosened the winch a little bit, caught the car before it was slammed to the ground. So hopefully no further damage done to the suspension. You're right. And I want to commend, too, Kevin Kovac, your team. Keep an eye on that, starting 6th.
Well, we're going to see what happens. It's going to be green flag for Dellinger and Lux out of 4. And look at Chubby right away going to work 4 wide, and we've got damage.
Whoa, they squeezed him hard into turn 1. They're still banging wheels. Chubzilla ends up all the way near the back of the field. Lux is your leader.
Barbara got a piece of Chub Frank. So Chubzilla has really went after it.
Barber to the pitch. He had damage from the get-go on that 17 after the initial start. It's Lux in front, Dellinger second, Eckert is third. Slow ride, David Scott right now 4th. Then Benal, Faree, Knight, and then Chubzilla trying to rally on the outside.
He was like a mongoose in a cage that had just been let out. I mean, he was all over it. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off for him as Rick Eckert working on the 5 of Alan Dellinger, trying to get a redraw spot. He's got it. Eckert has picked up the 2nd spot. Oh, and Faree just about went over.
Alex Faree got too low in turn 3, hooked his left front wheel on the curb at the bottom of turn 3 and turned him right around as he was side by side with Mark Benal for 5th, your defending track champion. Continue. Try to anyway.
If he can hold them off as they work out of 4. Rick Eckert's already picked up 2 spots. He punches the time clock. Here we go.
Eckert second, Dellinger third, Scott, and Faree spins on the restart in car 4. Never got off the 4th turn. Never got off the 4th turn. Look out, Mike Knight.
Mike Knight almost didn't get on the binders in time. That is the 2nd spin on Faree. So
didn't perform well in the big shows here.
Right.
He was great on Friday night's regular season, but wasn't able to do the same when the big money was on the line. He'd like to change that.
You got to think Chubb's thinking the same thing. Can we get this thing going, guys? I've got work to do. Green is out, and Dellinger surprised Rick Eckert for 2nd.
Still Lux. Dellinger, though, pushes high in 2, scrubs back into 2nd. Slow ride, pedals to 3rd, and it's Mark Benal to the inside of Dellinger now. The battle for 4th.
David Scott picked up the 3rd spot. Benal working on Dellinger, and here comes Chubzilla.
Chubzilla running in about the 6th spot, and he's got a lot of action all around him. Benal slips high. Chub moves to 5th, 1 spot out of transferring.
And we're not even halfway until this time by Chub Frank working on the 4th and final transfer spot. Had a good line. Dellinger got him at the line, but I think he's going to try him in 1 and 2.
They are side by side. Chubzilla down low. Dellinger running the middle of the racetrack. Chubb will get the forward bite off at 2 and take the 4th spot. Scott 3rd, Eckert 2nd. Lux your leader.
Well, if Chubb gets a transfer spot out of this deal at lap 10, he'll have earned it because he went from front to back, back up to front. And Chub Frank right now taking a look at Dave Scott's rear deck lid. Hollywood Mike Knight going to work on Dellinger, and Dellinger sliding backwards.
Top 6 cars have now checked out from the others. Mike Knight to the inside of Dellinger. He will take the 5th spot, and he ducks under Chub Frank for a minute, but Chub shuts the door into turn 1.
Well, Mike Knight got a lot of laps turned out at Volusia Speedway Park, and he has shown improvement tenfold. The Ripley, New York driver throws it hard into 4 and just about got her over.
Wow, he was up on the cushion and then some. He'll drop back a couple of car lengths trying to gather up again Chub Frank, who runs 4th, putting the pressure on the 3rd place car of David Scott. White flag waving, the Franklin Flyer. Matt Lux your leader.
And Chub Frank going to work on David Scott. He'll secure the number 3 position as we've got 1 to go. Top 2 go to the redraw. It's still Matt Lux and Rick Eckert.
Lux and Eckert down the back straightaway, 8 car lengths over Frank. Then it's Scott and Knight coming for the checkered flag. The Franklin Flyer. Matt Lux will win it by a car length over Eckert. Chubzilla 3rd, David Scott 4th. Knight, Dellinger, Faree, Benal, Miley, and Malik. The Alberta Match 21. Matt Lux from Franklin, Pennsylvania, picking up your 2nd heat race. Rick Scrub Eckert finishes 2nd in the 24. Chubzilla to the back and back to the front, gets 3rd, and finishing 4th, the final transfer spot, the slow ride from Garland to 3 of David Scott.
Oh, this ought to be a dandy. 12 cars, 10 laps, top 4 go, top 2 redraw. Right, take their flanking spots in the feature. And this time a little surprised that Tim Fuller has mired this far back into row number 4. We'll see how it works. Green's coming out.
At the chalk line off of 4, it's Clanton that fires first on the outside. He'll take the lead into 1. He'll go quickly to the bottom of the racetrack. Shannon Babb tried to duck underneath him off at 2. They're close down the back straight. It's Clanton by a car length into 3.
Well, Dan Stone has dropped back 3 spots as Shane Clanton shows the way. It's Shannon Babb second, Doug Horton running in the 3rd spot. Jeremy Miller has 4th. And Doug Horton surprising a lot of people right now. He's underneath Babb for 2nd.
Doug Horton, the West Virginia hot shoe to the inside of Shannon Babb in turn 4. Horton will make the pass for 2nd. Babb back to 3rd. Jeremy Miller now trying to hold off Tim Fuller for 4th.
Shannon Babb's Rayburn not getting the bite that Doug Horton's car is as they work out of turn number 2 down the back chute. Tim Fuller around Jeremy Miller for 4th.
Top side, Miller carrying the momentum. Miller runs 5th. Geisler's up to 6th. Then it's Stone, Blankenship, Stow, McGarvey, Shelton Brand, and the 18 car of Sean Beardsley.
So Shane Clanton, who's been hot as of late, leads heat number 3. Doug Horton in his footsteps. Shannon Babb, Tim Fuller, Lynn Geisler coming to life. Geisler now will close in the Cochran Automotive 1C on Jeremy Miller.
Closing on the halfway point, and Doug Horton is trying to run down Shane Clanton. He's within 2 car lengths off of turn number 4. The Bobby Lake Motorsports 46 on the move. Babb has dropped back. He's 3rd, but he's several car lengths behind the 2. And here comes Horton off the low side of 2.
Doug Horton
alongside of Shane Clanton.
He's got the fastest car on the racetrack right now. He's able to get off turn 2 like no other. Shane Clanton uses high side momentum out of 4. Watch him come out of 2 now. Doug Horton has really got a hookup on the bottom.
You're right. Clanton looks to be spinning the wheels coming off at 2. And here comes Horton again. He'll draw along the left rear quarter panels. They race into 3.
Very impressive run by Doug Horton as he stays right with Coconut. Will he try the outside or will he go back down low in 2? He stays on the hub.
2.5 laps to go. Here comes Doug Horton again. It's Clanton just enough to keep the lead over Horton into 3. And now Tim Fuller has caught Shannon Babb in the battle for 3rd.
And Fuller, who started in row number 4, spot number 7, has worked his way to 4th, closes in on Shannon Babb for 3rd. Horton again tries. Clanton got the runoff 2, just not enough down the back chute.
2 distinct lines. Clanton up high off of 2. Horton hugging the rail. Clanton's car seems to push high coming off the turns. He takes the white flag. Doug Horton looks to the low side into 1 and 2. Caution is out. Caution is out.
Looks like it may be Lynn Geisler in the Cochran Automotive 1C.
That's exactly who it is. He was running in. So this will, with 9 laps down, this will be just a 1-lap restart.
Easy way.
How about Doug Horton, Rick? Putting the heat all over Shane Clanton. And Clanton is to have a chance to start anywhere from 1st through 8th in tonight's A main. Green is back out. 1 lap to go. The battle continues for 3rd. They're side by side. Fuller to the inside of Babb into turns 1 and 2. Doug Horton again, pedaling hard down the back straightaway. He's alongside of Shane Clanton into turn 3, but he'll back out. Off of 4, it's Shane Clanton 1st, Doug Horton 2nd. Tim Fuller takes 3rd, Babb is 4th, and Miller looked to be Blankenship and Stone. Your winner out of Locust Grove, Georgia, the 25 of Shane Clanton. Also going into the redraw from Brewston Mills, West Virginia, the 46 of Doug Horton. Transferring to the A main, the 19T of Tim Fuller and the 18 of Shannon Babb. Showdown in Sarvertown. The Sweeteners plus 39 of Vic Coffey on the pole. Kid Rocket, Josh Richards outside in row number 1. We got a lot of West Virginia up front in this one. Steve Wilmoth from Clarksburg starting 2nd in the 13. Parkersburg's Mike Balzano goes 4th in the E1. Row 3, the 55 of Jeep Van Wormer and the B22 of Bump Headman. 1J Davey Johnson, 48 John Flinner. That's an interesting row number 4. Row 5, Billy Decker, 10 Gary Lyle. Then the last row, the Dr. Danny Johnson and the 0 of Ryan Scott.
This could prove to be interesting as well as Jeep Van Wormer sitting in row number 3. The Juice, Davey Johnson inside of row 4. John Flinner making his return. Of course, Billy Decker had a pretty good weekend so far. Kid Rocket with a good top 5 finish Saturday night. Kid Rocket 2nd in the points. Here we go. John Flinner making his return. This ought to be a dandy for 10 quick laps around the action track. Green is out.
It's Coffey off the bottom of turn 2, leading Kid Rocket down the back straightaway. Balzano sideways, hangs onto it in third. Van Wormer to the inside of Wilmoth for fourth.
So Jeep Van Wormer takes the number 4 spot away from the Wilmoth 13 machine. Steve Wilmoth back to 5th. Josh Richards underneath Coffey, couldn't make it happen. Bump Headman along with Davey Johnson. The juice is loose down the backstretch.
Streaking down the back straightaway on the inside. Johnson moves all the way up into the 5th spot, dropping Headman, Decker, and off the wall down the front straightaway, going sideways.
Wow, Ryan Scott all over the racetrack, and that cost Steve Wilmoth all over the racetrack. Cost Danny Johnson. Wilmoth has a problem. That car way loose. Steve Wilmoth is going pit side.
It's like he broke a bar in the back of the car. He might have flattened that right rear tire when he hit the wall. Wilmoth pits. We've got 3 down, coming for 4. Coffey and Richards way ahead of the Balzano third place car. Van Wormer by himself in 4th, then Johnson, Decker, and Headman.
Davey Johnson starting to make hay and close the gap on Jeep Van Wormer. Johnson has himself about a 3-car length disadvantage to the rear deck lid of the Spider-Man, but it's all Vic Coffey. He is going to work out of 4.
Yeah, he has stretched the lead a halfway mark. 5 are down, 5 to go. He's now a dozen car lengths ahead of Kid Rocket. Josh Richards back another dozen to the floodwall flyer Balzano, followed closely by Van Wormer and Johnson.
So the field has stretched out around the Lernerville Speedway with Vic Coffey showing the way. Kid Rocket now a distant second, a little further back to Balzano. And trouble on Bump Headman. The 22 is slow out of 4. Not a good place you want to be as the cars are hammering out of turn 4. But Bump has come to rest just outside of turn 4 on the front stretch. And we have 6 in the books, 4 to go. In this 39 car right now, down. Not so sure he wants to get out of it.
Car in the World of Outlaws.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
There was a guy named McCready that did too bad in that car.
Yeah,
right?
he was. So here we go. Coffey, Richards, Balzano, Van Wormer, and Johnson. It's on now. 4 laps to go. Can Davey Johnson take it away from Jeep Van Wormer?
He's going to crack the whip on the outside, trying to carry some momentum off that second turn, unable to gain on any ground. And now he's got Billy Decker on his heels into turn number 3 for 5th.
And John Flinner starting to show signs of life as Kid Rocket drifted up the banking. That opened up the door for Balzano. He'll try and grab second.
Yeah, Kid Rocket slipped way high in turn 4. He's got a handful coming off the turns. You can see that back end kicking out. He tries to hold off Balzano now for second. His Coffey is just driving off.
Vic Coffey has got the setup right now. The Rocket chassis performing at top-notch speed. John Flinner coming to life one more time. If Flinner can get a run on the outside, he's going to be strong. He's around Decker. Now Decker battles back.
And now he's trying to take 5th from Johnson, and right ahead of him is Van Wormer as the white flag waves. John Flinner trying to rally here for a transfer spot. Johnson slides up in front of him.
Wow, that was close quarters. Final lap. It's all Vic Coffey. Can Balzano get second, and will Flinner transfer? Here they come.
Coffey's going to win it. Richards second, Balzano third. Here they come, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Almost 3 wide off of turn 4. It'll be Van Wormer, Johnson, and Flinner exchanging paint as they cross the checkered flag. Oh, the 1J and the 48 having a dynamite time on the racetrack as they exchange pleasantries on their way to the infield. It was them coming up, though, 2 spots short. Johnson 5th, 1 spot short. Flinner 6th, 2 spots short. Getting the final transfer spot, the 55 of Jeep Van Wormer. Finishing 3rd, the E1 of Mike Balzano. 2nd, Kid Rocket, Josh Richards in the 1. And coming home, your winner, Vic Coffey into 39. So Coffey and Richards go into the peel draw for starting spots 1 through 8. Go to turn number 4 where we're ready to go. Donnie Gallagher has the green flag in his hand, and the UMP Pro Late Model Heat Race number 1 is underway. It's Headman on the outside with the lead. Second will be Pyle. Lyon third. Carl McKinney 4th. Pegger runs 5th. Pyle sideways. Hard contact from Dave Lyon as they bang wheels in turn 4. Both cars continue on. And we got a car into the wall. Dave Airgood in the 42, bouncing off the wall and coming to a stop here on the front straightaway. Caution is out. Red flag being thrown. A little bit of a fire, we're told, in the 42 car. You can run either a Hoosier hard compound, an American Racer hard compound tire, or there's 2 Goodyear tire compounds that the drivers were eligible to use tonight. You'll see green is out again. It's still Headman, your leader. Bobby Powell was outside as they race into turn number 1. Dave Lyon third, Carl McKinney fourth. Headman out of shape in turn 2, and Bobby Powell takes over the lead. Off of 4, McKinney and Angelicchio together. McKinney into the wall, and Pegger ends up spun around to avoid it all. For a lot of these drivers, the first time they've competed here at Lernerville, thought it was going to be bad because one was in the air, the other was in the wall. He spun the car to miss it. They kept going, and not a good start. Green is out. Green is out. Headman is back in front. Powell's second. Dave Lyons third. Daniel Angelicchio now into fourth. Mike Pegger Jr. moves into the top 5. Pegger to the inside of Angelicchio and moves to fourth. David Lyons trying to take second away from Bobby Powell. 4 down and 6 remaining. David Lyons and Bobby Powell going at it wheel to wheel for second. Bump Headman still your leader halfway this time. 5 to go. Lyons with a big push. He'll lose a lot of ground, and now Mike Pegger Jr. closes in for third. Bobby Powell trying to run down Bump Headman. Meantime, Mike Pegger Jr. to the outside of David Lyons trying to motor by for third down the back straightaway. Lyons pushes up. Pegger slides by for third, and now he's right on the heels of Bobby Powell for second. Headman continues to lead, and here comes Pegger dicing to the bottom of turn 2. Pegger did some racing in his own crate late model a few times last year, along with running his pure stock here to the track championship. 2 laps to go. Bump Headman with a healthy lead and 1 lap remaining. Headman has extended it to a half a straightaway as he comes to the checkered flag. Bobby Powell second, Mike Pegger Jr. third. That's the way they will finish. Fourth to David Lyons, Daniel Angelicchio fifth. And then the 6M of Carl McKinney. Bump Headman, folks, gets the win. The very first great late model race at Lernerville Speedway. Brian Tank. Oh, the 10-eye. Scotty Meyers makes some contact as the green waves. Again, a lot of these drivers, first time they've ever raced at Lernerville. Scott Meyers out of Franklin in front. Bryant Hank second. Josh Holtgraver to the outside, trying to swing by for second. He'll make the pass. Hank is third. Then it's Jim Frank, Keith Barbara, Derek Frank, and Tyler Dietz. Big lead for Scott Meyers. Holtgraver's second now. Keith Barber to the inside of Bryant Hank. He will move to third. Hank is fourth, and it's Jim Frank in the 14 and his son Derek in the 16 running in the sixth spot. Scott Meyers straightaway lead over Josh Holtgraver. Going to race for fourth between Bryant Hank and Jim Frank. I think we got a flat tire possibly on Derek Frank in the 16. Flat tire in the 16 car of Derek Frank. Halfway for your leader. Scott Meyers continues to pedal away, and look out, Tyler Dietz in the 10. Slides off the inside of turn one, gets it straightened around. The green stays out. Less than 3 laps with the checkered flag. Holtgraver second, Barbara by himself in third. Jim Frank now has moved around Bryant Hank and into fourth. Hank in the 28 car is fifth. 2 laps remaining, 2 to go. Scott Meyers out of Franklin gets the white flag. He has dominated. Josh Holtgraver, though, slowly closing in. He's still a long way behind, but Josh looks like he's adapted well here to the action track, Lernerville Speedway. Barbara third. Jim Frank fourth, and Bryant Hank fifth. It's going to be Scott Meyers wire to wire in the 10i out of Franklin. Pro late model second preliminary. Josh Holtgraver in the 00 second. Keith Barbara brings the G1 home third. Jim Frank in the 14 fourth, and then Bryant Hank in car 28. Scott Meyers, your winner in the 10i. Second, the 00 of Josh Holtgraver. Third, the G1 of Keith Barbara, and Jim Frank in the 14 completes the top 4. Fifth, the 28 of Bryant Hank. Tom Kitchen. And Joe Isabel in the 7J, also a scratch. Here they come. Your World of Outlaw late models. The first of 2 B mains. Off we go. Clint Smith in car 44 grabs the lead from the pole. Alex Free and Dutch Davies go wheel to wheel for second down the back, shoot into 3. Mike Knight in the 9K running 4th. Hess in the 44's 5th, and Miley 6th. Into turn 1, it's still Cat Daddy Clint Smith. Free second. Dutch Davies spins off the racetrack to the inside of turn 2.
And he had a third and final transfer spot going early. Dow. Bad news is, yeah, he's sideways. Good news is 11 laps to go. He's got a long way to get at it. And Dutch Davies has had a real, he's been so close, just over and under and back and forth.
One of those 1 step forward, 2 step back kind of nights.
I tell you, I don't think you're going to see any more backward steps. A lot of racing under his belt yet, but Hess is going to be there when it's all said and done. He's got a great car for 2008, and we'll see if he can get in because he has a few outlaw points.
He's still so young.
No, he does not. I stand cuts up for grabs. Cat Daddy sitting out front of this B main, hopes to stay there and get in the top 3 and make the main event. So here we go. It's anybody's guess who the top three are going to be as we're green.
Cat Daddy with a good restart continues to lead. Faree second off of turn 2. Mike Knight, though, on the outside of the A train into the inside. Dave Hess Jr., they drop Faree to 4th just like that.
And Faree's not going to take kindly to that because he is going right back to work. Mike Knight and Hess side by side. Faree in the battle. 3 cars for 2 spots.
Big lead for Cat Daddy. Mike Knight, Dave Hess Jr. inside, outside, down the back straight. It's Hess on the inside taking the 2nd spot into turn 3.
Well, Cat Daddy trying to run away and hide and doing a good job, wants no part of a battle for a transfer position. He wants to secure it the easy way. He's doing that. That GRT is dialed in. And Faree finds himself in no man's land outside a transfer spot.
And not gaining any ground right now on Mike Knight, the 3rd place car. He is several car lengths ahead of Faree. Satterley runs 5th. Miley is 6th. Then it's Briggs in 7th. Big lead for Clint Smith. 44s are wild out in front.
Well, a pair of 44s up front, just the way you like them out of turn number 4. It's Clint Smith showing away. Dave Hess Jr. 2nd, Mike Knight 3rd. Faree again starting to mount the challenge. Will be halfway this time. 6 in, 6 to go. But a good 7 car lengths between 3rd and 4th.
Rick Briggs around Jared Miley, moving up to 6. Now goes to the outside of Greg Satterley in one fell swoop off of turn 4. He'll break into the top 5. Briggs up to 5th.
Dave Hess Jr. sitting solidly in the number 2 spot. Mike Knight pretty comfortable right now as Faree not able to make up any real estate. 7 in the books, 5 to go. Dutch Davies, after the spin, has picked up 4 positions. He's still got a long way to go to get in the big dance.
In less than 5 laps, Cat Daddy, your leader in turn 3, a half a straightaway ahead of Dave Hess. Back another 8 cars to Mike Knight in the 3rd and final transfer spot right now. Defending track champ Alex Free on the outside looking in.
4 laps to go in B main number 1. Clint Smith, Dave Hess Jr., Mike Knight in. Boom Briggs, Alex Faree, along with Dutch Davies, Bump Headman, Greg Satterley. Oh, look out down the backstretch. Jared Miley got loose right in front of Chris Hackett, and somehow Hackett able to take evasive action and miss him.
The Calusi Chevy H1 of Jared Miley turned around on the back straightaway. To this. Looks like Greg Satterley is going to the pits in the 22 car. Satterley pitting in the 22, trying to get there.
Clint Smith, Dave Hess Jr., Hollywood Mike Knight, the A train, Alex Faree, and Boom Briggs are top 5. 3 to go. Oh, and Boom took a wild ride over in turn 4. Wow.
Joey Chitwood doesn't have anything on Boom Briggs. He was up on 2 wheels coming off the 4th turn. Dave Hess trying to make a run at Cat Daddy, and here comes Free to the outside of Mike Knight.
Hess trying to throw a slide job, and it's going to stick. So Dave Hess Jr. all of a sudden has put the wheels to the grindstone and took care of Cat Daddy. How about Faree and Dutch Davies in the mix?
Dutch Davies, who spun early, back up to 5th now. Faree to the outside again through 3 and 4. He's making a run. He's got 1 more lap to try to take the 3rd spot away from Mike Knight. He'll follow Knight to the inside of 2. We got a caution.
John Garvin
Jr. sits atop turn 3, so it is now a 1-lap shootout.
Any particular reason? They're great racing, big field of cars. But this field is about to get interesting on 1 lap because Alex Faree has got to throw caution to the wind, as does Dutch Davies. It's Dave Hess out of 2.
And he'll try it on the outside off that 2nd turn. He's got the momentum side by side for 3rd. Faree and Knight into 3. Off of 4, Dave Hess Jr. wins it. Clint Smith 2nd, and Mike Knight will get 3rd back off of turn 4. Faree will finish 4th. Rick Briggs 5th. Dutch Davies 6th. Dave Hess Jr., folks, your winner. Clint Smith 2nd. Mike Knight in that wild scramble gets the 3rd and final transfer spot. Alex Faree will have to rely on a provisional. Your 4th place finish, you are defending track champion. 18 and the 13 of Steve Wilmoth. Drivers being told we will go green the next time by. Well, we remember from the heat race, Maine tonight tells you about the competition.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, you can go from front to back in a hurry if you just blink. And Bump Headman, the only driver not answering the bell for this B. So plenty of cars out there, and I don't know about this one.
Green is out. Yellow now, not a good start.
Jeremy heard you say, going from winning the race to being in the B, and he wanted to impress right away. Just a little trigger happy on the right pedal, so race control calling them back. We'll give him one more chance. Looking to secure B main win number 13 and get in the big dance. He's sitting in the top 12 in points, had a great 2008 so far. Somehow just finds himself in the hooligan race every night.
Now he doesn't go. Green is out. Geisler spins in turn 4.
Oh, and big brother Dan Stone, left rear damage, a flat tire on the 21D. Gonna have to go to the pits and get a new race tire put on. At the correct point, Jeremy Miller didn't. Blankenship didn't fire when they got to the point. Here we go. Green is out. This B main's underway.
It's Blankenship down low and Johnson in the middle through 1 and 2, running first and second. The juice closes in as they head down the back straightaway, almost 3 wide for the lead. Miller on the very bottom, backs out at the end.
Davey Johnson not afraid to throw it high on the cushion. Didn't help him. He opened the door for Jeremy Miller. Blankenship leads.
Blankenship leads. Miller to the inside will have 2nd and 2, but here comes Johnson with a run on the outside. It's Miller with the horsepower off the bottom 2nd, Johnson 3rd, Flinner 4th.
Well, unfortunately, Dan Stone, a lap off the pace, missed it. So Stoney is a lap behind right now. All he can do is just hope for a good run.
Davey Johnson has pedaled around Jeremy Miller for 2nd. Miller battles back on the low side. Decker trying to close on Flinner for 4th. Out in front, it's Blankenship right in the middle of the racetrack.
The Miller right now on the racetrack, that was for that 2nd spot.
Yeah,
the 8H machine off the Speedway, but it's Blankenship out front. Now Davey Johnson has taken over 2nd, and we have got a caution on the Speedway.
Caution is on the Speedway. 2S of Sammy Stiles. He heads to the pits.
Nice and tight, so that's going to help him out for a while. 3 and 9 to go. We're going to fire him off. Blankenship will bring him out of turn number 4. Keep your eyes on the juice. He'll go to work with Jeremy Miller. We're back underway.
And they have switched lines. It's Johnson on the inside, Miller to the outside for the restart. Off at 2 down the back straightaway. Blankenship, Johnson, and now Decker around Miller for 3rd.
Well, you called it, Billy. Decker, a man on a mission right now. Decker gets the 3rd and final transfer spot. Gary Lyle not out of the question. Lyle beating on the door of Jeremy Miller for 4th.
3 wide for that 4th spot into 1, and Miller ends up back 2 more spots as Lau and Flinner both get by.
Well, John Flinner again showing signs of John Flinner of old. High, wide, and handsome around Gary Lyle. And Flinner is back in it.
Yeah, he is up on the cushion and on the gas pedal hard. John Flinner trying to pedal his way to 3rd, closing on Billy Decker down the back straightaway. Here he comes, rolling through 3 and 4 on the high side.
He's got momentum. Can he get around Billy Decker? Decker just by a car length and a half at the line, halfway, 6 and 6 to go. Flinner has found something up high.
Blankenship and Johnson run 1 and 2. Then it's back to Decker with Flinner just a car length behind into the outside, tries to pull even into 3.
Flinner's riding the rim around Lernerville Speedway. Looks like the John Flinner of old.
Gary Lau and Danny Johnson are next. Davey Johnson now within a car length of the race leader, John Blankenship.
Well, Blankenship shows the way. Davey Johnson trying to muscle his way into the number 1 spot. John Flinner and Billy Decker are waging war with just 4 laps to go.
And those two racing so hard, but at the same time closing in on the 2 leaders, Blankenship and Johnson.
And Flinner is just a tick off in the corners. Gets a good run, good momentum going in. Can't quite get off the corner as well. Gets a little bit better out of 4, but Decker's got that smooth line out of 4.
3 laps to go. John Blankenship now by 3 car lengths over Davey Johnson. 3 more back to Billy Decker. John Flinner 3 behind Decker. Lau runs 5th.
So they work off of turn number 4. The 2 to go signal. White flag the next time by. And Blankenship looking to pick up his 13th career modern day Outlaws B main event.
The Avalanche continues to lead into 3. This is the white flag. 1 lap to go. Flinner trying to rally the troops again. A little better run off of turn 4 that time. The final lap. Blankenship, Johnson, Decker, and Flinter down the back straightaway. Johnson slips a bit. Decker closing in second. Through 3 and 4, Blankenship will win it. Johnson second. Decker gets third. Flinter will come up one spot shy in fourth. Gary Lau gets fifth. John, the Avalanche Blankenship, picking up the second B main win, and he adds to his B main record as far as wins go with the World of Outlaws. That was what, 13th career B main win for John Blankenship. Davey Johnson in the Bill Style 1J comes home second. The final transfer spot goes to Billy Decker, folks, in the 91 car.
Your third starter, 2005 Series champion, current point leader and three-time winner in 2008. Out of Batesville, Arkansas, in his J&J Steel Banner Valley hauling number 21, it's Mr. Smooth Billy Moyer. Your front row, out of Leicester, New York, a Rookie of the Year contender presented by Butler, built in his Sweeteners Plus CME Incorporated number 39, the Leicester Leadfoot, it's Vic Coffey. And your pole sitter just about got the Firecracker 100 here last year and came up just a little short. He'll be the pole sitter out of turn 4 when we take green. From Locust Grove, Georgia, is RSD Enterprises SAE Parts Incorporated Rocket, the 25 of the Locust Grove Lightning, Shane Clanton. And being late under World of Outlaws Late Model Series rules, 8 minutes, that's all they get down. Didn't answer the bell, so he didn't hurt himself any.
Fox says 10:20. World of Outlaw late models begin to pace around Don Martin's Lernerville Speedway for
put their cars. You know, a guy that was really strong early in the season, Darrell Lanigan, he and Moyer up to race number 5, the only two drivers to have top 10s in all the races. Well, Moyer ended up 17th at Virginia. Lanigan ended up 12th. So that took everybody out. No driver has made the top 10 every race. And with this field here, it's hard to say who's going to win. Add 2 more cars to this field now. Little bit less racing room out there early on. You're going to see lap traffic a lot quicker. And let's face it, all these guys deserve to be here. Any of them have a chance.
Top 6 cars from 6 different states. None of the top 6 from Pennsylvania here in the Keystone States.
So here we go. Race fans, on your feet. Let's go. The opening night of Lernerville Speedway. We're doing it with the Outlaws. Everybody up. Let's send them off in style. And Sarver, Pennsylvania, they're back once again to put on a 50-lap extravaganza. The most powerful late models on the planet, the World of Outlaws. Here they come 4 wide. Let's send them off Sarver style. What a beautiful sight now. 4 wide, you just gotta love this. Multicolored machines. The fireworks have been sent off. And you better believe, my friend, there's gonna be fireworks on this racetrack before it's over. Well, Dow, you know the drill. Dirt Radio Network, always the host announcer, calls the green flag in the first lap. Tradition on DRN since 2004. So, my friend, take it away.
Thank you, Rick. The number 1 Cochran GMC continues to pace the field as they go from 4 wide to 2 wide. This is the way they will start tonight's showdown in Sarvertown. Shane Clanton, Vic Coffey, the front row. Billy Moyer and Steve Francis, the defending champion and former champion, in row 2. Then it's Doug Horton, so impressive earlier tonight, the Bobby Lakes 46, and Matt Lux, the Franklin Flyer, starting 6th. Rick Eckert, 62 World of Outlaw A mains without a win. He has won here before. Is this tonight? The night he ends the streak, he starts 7th into 24. Kid Rocket, 1 win here at Lernerville, not with the World of Outlaws, starts 8th. Then it's Brian Shirley and Chubbzilla, the only driver to have won twice with the World of Outlaws here at Lernerville, starting 10th. We're ready to go off at turn number 4. Donnie Gallagher has the green flag in his hand, and the showdown in Sarvertown is underway. Shane Clanton will win the drag race into turn 1 from the pole. Moyer quickly to 2nd, Francis to 3rd, and Doug Horton inches inside of Coffey for 4th into 3 and 4. Moyer to the low side, Clanton slides up high, Francis swings around Moyer. They're side by side for 2nd into 1. Shane Clanton by 4 car lengths over Steve Francis now with Billy Moyer third.
And Lanigan just took 3 for the price of 1 out of turn 2 down the backstretch. Darrell Lanigan now on Rick Eckert's rear decklet, so Lanigan found something on the bottom.
Shane Clanton continues to lead Steve Francis, Billy Moyer, Doug Horton, and now Vic Coffey trying to pressure Horton for 4th. Eckert runs 6th.
Mike Knight has a problem. Hollywood in the 9K, slow on the racetrack. Caution is out on lap number 3.
It looks to be like the same fender that they had problems with in the B main, the left front. I don't know if it was there to start the race or not, but it is gone again. Ryan Shirley being dropped into the 10th spot.
Smoke, and he's had to work for everything he's gotten tonight. To see the video to go with this audio, and I'll tell you, if you've ever seen a Dirt Radio Network Dirt Vision broadcast, it is something to behold. It's almost like you are at the racetrack, and they're getting a treat here tonight for those of the fans that couldn't make it to Sarvertown.
They are.
Well, you just got to wonder what's going to happen. Shannon Babb lurking back there as well.
Yeah.
Babb 13th right now, so he's not sitting too bad. 47 to go, Dow. We've seen a lot happen.
Yeah, I can remember the very first showdown in Sarvertown in 2004. Chubb Frank was a half a straightaway behind with 5 laps to go and drove by. I think it was Dale McDowell and Steve Francis and won it.
A couple years ago, Rick Eckert and Tim McCready battling for the win. Eckert spun out, ended up with a 19th place finish. McCready went on to win. And from that point, Eckert never could regain his composure to get that top championship point spot. So let's see what happens, Dow. We still have 47 remaining.
Clanton fires off of 4s. The green waves again. Moyer on the outside, Francis on the inside for second into turn number 1. Moyer will swing high. He'll stay right with Shane Clanton. He'll be second down the back chute and gaining ground on the leader into 3.
Well, Lanigan continues to pick him off. Just got around Rick Eckert. Here comes Moyer to the lead. Billy Moyer will lead lap number 4.
Moyer in front. Clanton runs second. Francis is third. Then it's Coffey. Horton and Lanigan continues to move forward. He's to the outside. 3 wide for 4th into 3.
Doug Horton on the inside. Then in the middle is Coffey. Lanigan on the outside. Had to check up. Not enough room in turn 4.
Chubb Frank follows Lanigan, then it's Eckert and Richards. Clanton moves to the outside, trying to make a run on Moyer down the back straightaway for the lead.
So Billy Moyer holding off Shane Clanton. Francis is third, Coffey 4th. Clanton all over the rear deck. Little Moyer, he's hanging with the current point leader.
Billy Moyer into 1, running in the middle of the racetrack. Clanton up just a groove higher on the cushion. Francis sits a solid 3rd. Doug Horton continues to pester Vic Coffey for 4th.
Darrell Lanigan in the number 6 spot. Chubb Frank 7th. Josh Richards now battling Rick Eckert for 8th. You go back to 10th at Squirrel Brian Shirley. He needs a good run now.
They are just flying out there. The track time, the speed seemed to be not dropping at all. Moyer just right in the middle of the racetrack. You can see why that car's been so good all year.
That little bit of water may have paid off because these guys are getting a heck of a bite out of the corner. No wheel spin. They are hammered down around Lernerville Speedway. Horton almost lost it coming out of 2 as he challenged Coffey.
And Billy Moyer starts to stretch the lead on Shane Clanton. Francis still 3rd. Coffey, Horton, Lanigan, Frank, Richards, and now Eckert has dropped to 10th, or 9th, excuse me, in car 24. Shirley is 10th.
Tim Fuller now starting his challenge with Brian Shirley, trying to crack the top 10. Fuller on the inside of Brian Shirley. Fuller tried to make the pass. Shirley too strong on the outside. Matt Lux dropping back a little. Babb moving up.
This is to say, one driver that hasn't had a good start is Matt Lux, who started up in the top 10. He has slipped back now mid-pack as they head down the back straightaway.
Chubbzilla throwing all caution to the wind. Boy, have we seen him do that here this night.
He is usually good on the bottom. Tonight he's pounding the outside, trying to get the momentum to carry him by. Darrell Lanigan now to the inside of Doug Horton, just ahead of Chubbzilla.
Lanigan's been making his living on this bottom of the racetrack during the feature. It pays off. He gets around Doug Horton. Horton rallies back, but Lanigan has the preferred line on the hub.
And your leader, Billy Moyer, has caught the back of the field as he comes around to complete lap number 13. Darrell Lanigan, Doug Horton continue to go wheel to wheel. It's Lanigan in front of Horton now for 5th. Off of 4, Horton with a run will pull back even down the front chute.
What a battle between Lanigan and Horton. It's all Billy Moyer. Shane Clanton 2nd. Steve Francis 3rd. Vic Coffey another solid run sitting in 4th. Lanigan 5th, Horton 6th, Chubb Frank 7th. Battle for 8th between Richards and Eckert, and Brian Shirley is 10th.
Yeah, Richards had been ahead of Eckert. Eckert now back under Josh as they race into turn number 1. Richards at the very top and Eckert at the very bottom. Meantime, Moyer has lapped Isabel and now sets his sight on the doctor, Danny Johnson.
So Joe Isabel, first car to go, a lap in arrears as we stay under green. Billy Moyer working on the doctor, Danny Johnson. Almost a straightaway already back to Clanton, and Moyer's dominance continues.
Right, again, not on the top, not on the bottom, right down the middle. We're past lap 15. 16 are down. Francis by himself in third. Coffey, Lanigan, Frank, and Horton all running together for positions 4, 5, 6, and 7.
So the field works their way down the back chute. Trouble on Doug Horton. He's off the pace. Gets back on it. Rick Eckert stays. Josh Richards. Eckert and Richards now gang up on the 46 Bobby Lake Motorsports entry.
Boy, Darrell Lanigan and Chubb Frank are really putting the heat on Vic Coffey right now. Coffey trying to hold him off in fourth. He's got Lanigan to his low side. Darrell will pull even into 3, and Chubb goes for it on the high side.
Darrell Lanigan has to be careful. That berm will come up and bite you. Alex Ferree found it, as did Isabel. Chubb Frank has just made the move.
Chubb from 6th to 4th as he swung through the outside of 3 and 4, and now Lanigan follows him to 5th, dropping Coffey to 6th. Out in front, it's still Moyer, one-lap car between he and Shane Clanton.
So we thought Darrell Lanigan may have been the driver on the move. All of a sudden, Chubb Frank has come to life. Your 10th place starter working in the number 4 spot. Next in line for Chubb Frank is the series champion, Steve Francis, just a half a straightaway behind it. Chubb's making up real estate.
And Doug Horton has dropped to 8th, and he may go back further than that as Josh Richards swings by him on the outside off of turn 4 to take the 8th spot.
So it's all Billy Moyer. Shane Clanton running in second, 20 in the books. Francis third, Frank fourth, Lanigan 5th. Coffey is 6th, and Billy Decker has just shuttered down on the front stretch, trying to limp his way to the pit area. Billy Decker off the pace, trying to get out of harm's way, and caution is out.
Lap 21, caution out for Billy Decker. Billy Decker brings out the cart. 2 cars continue to move through the field. Chubb Frank and Darrell Lanigan. Frank to 4th, Lanigan to 5th will now have a chance to
for the Franklin Flyer. So 21 in the books. Billy Moyer the leader. Shane Clanton is 2nd. Steve Francis 3rd. Chubb Frank 4th. Darrell Lanigan 5th. Vic Coffey is 6th. Rick Eckert 7th. Doug Horton 8th. Josh Richards 9th. G. Van Wormer is 10th. Tim Fuller is 11th. Brian Shirley is 12th. Dave Hess Jr. 13th. Shannon Babb hasn't moved up much. He's sitting in 14th. Matt Lux has dropped back to 15th. Cat Daddy Clint Smith 16th.
Isabel and Johnson are a lap down, the 18 and the 27, Jay. That's Danny Johnson.
Stars race out there and said, you know, this thing is pretty darn good. Tooled with it during most of the end of 2007. He has perfected it in 08. Here we go.
And we're back on the hammer. The green is out. 21 lap stat, caution is out. Check that. The green is out. I thought I saw the caution light. But anyway, the green is out. It's still Moyer ahead of Clanton. Francis and Lanigan and Frank right behind them.
Oh, we've got one off the racetrack. Might have been Dave Hess Jr.
He's back up and in the gas at the back of the field, but better than bringing out the caution. It looked like he went off a ski jump as he came back off the up over the banking from turn 4.
Wow. I thought he was in deep trouble.
I thought he was in Butler.
Yeah. There's Francis to the inside of Clanton, so Steve Francis will take 2nd away from Coconut. Francis, we've seen this a couple times. Moyer and Francis, and guess who's in 2nd here at Lernerville again?
Lanigan 4th and Chubbzilla is 5th. 6th right now is Eckert. Richards around Coffey for 7th. Lanigan moves by Clanton for 3rd, so Clanton has not looked good since the restart.
And Joe Isabel took his machine off the speedway, so 2 of the 3 Rookie of the Years presented by Butlerville gone. That means, again, Vic Coffey will get the $250 rookie bonus. We're halfway.
And Billy Moyer leads by a straightaway. The race for 2nd is tightening. Darrell Lanigan started 13th. He's to the low side of Steve Francis for 2nd off of turn 4.
You talk about a man on a mission. I think he had enough of driving that rig from Union, Kentucky. He wanted to get in a race car, something fierce. but Francis pinched him off, and while that took place, Clanton takes second.
Shane has got the momentum on the outside. Francis bobbled for just a second as he was worried about landing into the low side, and Clanton's back in second, and now Rick Eckert closing in on the front 5 car.
And you just brought up a good point. One of the most consistent drivers in 2008, Rick Eckert, hasn't been flashy, but has gotten the job done. He steps to the outside of Lanigan for the number 5 spot.
It was Lanigan 2 laps ago who was almost second, and now he finds himself in 5th, maybe 6th.
And Eckert motors around him down the front stretch, so Rick Eckert may have been saving something. Hasn't put all his cards on the table. He's trying to get 5th. Lanigan grabs it back.
Good racing. I tell you, 2nd through 6th are all together. Billy Moyer is in a class of his own right now as we get close to lap 30.
Well, Billy Moyer, a straightaway lead over Shane Clanton, Steve Francis, Chubb Frank, and Lanigan. 6th is Eckert, Richards 7th, Fuller 8th. Coffey has dropped back to 9th. Jeep Van Wormer trying to crack the top 10 with Brian Shirley.
Good racing just right near the back end of the top 10 between Van Wormer, Coffey, Shirley.
David Scott went off the speedway, the slow ride out of the event.
Cat Daddy Clint Smith and Mike Balzano, they're having a heck of a race for about 9th through 13th. Eckert now around Lanigan, so Lanigan has dropped back to 6th.
Could Darrell Lanigan have used everything he had early just to get up in the top 5? Eckert has now picked up the number 5 spot, but Lanigan hasn't gone away yet. He's going right back at it. Fuller and Richards go at it. We've got a lot of battles side by side on this racetrack.
Tim Fuller committed to the inside. Kid Rocket on the outside. Rocket holds him off for that spot into turn number 1. That would be for 7th. Clanton just a car length ahead of Francis. They continue to try to close on Billy Moyer. 17 laps remaining. Moyer about to catch the back of the field. We've got a spinner.
Tim Fuller, who had a top 10 run going in the 8th spot, has brought the caution out. The GNR Auto Parts, Streetwise Fight Gear, Gypsum Wholesalers, Rocket finds himself now at the tail of the lead lap. Not something he was looking forward to.
Tim started 11th, was up to 8th, closing for 7th when he spun in turn 4. 9th and Shirley 10th unofficially.
And only one car right now off the pace. That would be the 27J of the Dr. Danny Johnson.
Because of both lanes being blocked.
Well, we are past the halfway. It's single file. Everybody on the hammer. Chubb Frank is going to work up high.
He's pounding the cushion tonight. He tries to gain ground on Steve Francis. He'll be able to pull alongside into 1, but Francis holds him off. Clanton trying to stay with Moyer, and here comes Francis to the inside of Clanton.
Trying to wrestle away the runner-up spot. Clanton bobble. That's all Francis needed, but Clanton too strong up high. He gets it back.
Crash on the back straightaway. Dave Hess Jr. and Fuller. Alex Ferree, I think, was involved as well. He heads off the racetrack in turn 4 to the pits. Dave Hess Jr., Tim Fuller crashed on the back straightaway just before turn 3. Ferree takes his car to the pits.
Francis on Clanton. Clanton bobbled and gathered it right back up, got his composure back, and had second place by the time they got to the flag stand.
Sprint cars got a race. We'll be sponsoring the Firecracker in June. Tim Fuller with the helmet off. 16 laps to go, folks. 16 to go. Moyer trying to win his second World of Outlaw A main here at the Lernerville Speedway as he brings the field off the bottom of turn 4. Clanton second, Francis third, Frank fourth. Eckert still fifth down the back straightaway. Chubb with momentum, trying to pull alongside of Francis for third. Climbs the ladder to the top of 4. He's got the momentum. He'll swing by Francis, and now he's on the back bumper of Shane Clanton into turn 1. Meantime, Francis goes back to the inside. They're 3 wide for second in turn 2. Moyer leads Clanton second, Frank third, and Francis now fourth. 3 wide for 5th.
3 wide for 5th indeed. Rick Eckert trying to hold off both Darrell Lanigan and Josh Richards. Richards just got by Rick Eckert, so Richards takes 5th. Eckert goes back to 6th.
And all that hard racing for second has helped Billy Moyer extend his lead to almost a half a straightaway over Shane Clanton. Chubbzilla Running third, Francis fourth. It's still Richards fifth, Eckert sixth, Lanigan seventh, Shirley eighth, and then Van Warmer and Coffey.
So again, Rick Eckert goes back to work for fifth, tries the dive underneath Josh Richards. Moyer, 3 car lengths over Clanton. Now Rick Eckert has cleared Richards, so Eckert goes back to fifth, sets his sights on fourth place, Steve Francis.
Richards got too high into 3 that time, jumped the cushion, lost his momentum. Shane Clanton slowly closing back in on Billy Moyer. Moyer having a hard time making his car turn coming off that 4th turn.
And Clanton's finding that rhythm he had back here at the Firecracker last June as he starts to peck away at the high side of the racetrack. Got to be careful. Chubb Frank just 2 car lengths off the rear deck lid. We're coming down for 10 to go.
10 laps remaining in the showdown in Sarvertown. Clanton's car 2 looks like it's a little tight on the cushion. And Chubbzilla goes to the low side of Shane in 1 and 2. The battle for second. It's still Clanton by a car length over Frank into 3.
Best battle on the racetrack right now is that battle for the runner-up spot. Chubbzilla to the inside of Clanton, and at the line, give it to Chubb Frank by a half a car over Clanton. Clanton will stay up top. Chubby will be the bottom feeder.
Less than 10 laps to go. Coming around a complete lap 42. Clanton gets back around Frank down the back straightaway.
Swap the number 2 spot. We've got 8 laps to go. Moyer, if he had a rear view mirror, watch it and saying, you guys do all.
That's what I'm saying. He's loving this right now because although his car may not be handling as well as it was with the racing behind him, those guys are having a hard time catching him. In fact, they've lost ground the last 2 laps. Shane Clanton hits the cushion right this time. He will extend the lead over Chubb Frank for second and try to make a run at Billy Moyer. He's got a lot of ground to make up in less than 6 laps to do it. Six laps to go. Billy Moyer completing lap 45, now 5 to go.
And the guy that's had a great run tonight, Dow, is Brian Shirley. Sitting in the number 8 spot, has had some less than stellar finishes lately, dead last at Virginia Motor Speedway. He's rebounded in a big way.
Shane Clanton, a 1-lap car now. Danny Johnson between he and Billy Moyer. Moyer's lead still a half a straightaway. Frank is 3rd, Francis 4th, Eckert 5th, and Lanigan 6th. Richards is 7th.
3 to go when Moyer crosses the line. Shane Clanton and Chubb Frank running out of time. Eckert has caught Steve Francis for 4th. Rick Eckert underneath. Francis motors by on the outside. 2 to go when Moyer crosses the stripe this time.
And Clanton having a hard time getting underneath Danny Johnson to put him a lap down. Moyer able to extend the advantage. Off a turn 4 down the front stretch into turn number 1. 2 laps to go. Billy Moyer still your leader. Clanton and Frank now clear Danny Johnson, but they are several car lengths behind the race leader. He's got 1 lap to go. He's been the class of the field here in the showdown in Sarvertown, trying to win his 4th World of Outlaws A main in 2008 and his 2nd career win here at Lernerville. He won the showdown in Sarvertown in 2005. Off a turn 4 to Batesville, Arkansas. Billy Moyer will win it again in 2008. Clanton 2nd, Frank 3rd, Francis 4th, Eckert 5th, Lanigan 6th, Richards 7th, Shirley 8th, Balzano 9th, and Van Warmer 10th.
Of Outlaws, Mr. Smooth Billy Moyer is J&J Steel, Banner Valley Outlaws. And he's ready to climb out of that machine. And we're going to get his thoughts on yet another Outlaw victory. Picking up the showdown in Sarvertown. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Smooth Billy Moyer. Can we lean up against this car? It's hot. Awful hot. Billy, 4th win of 2008 with the Outlaws. It's been a banner season. you might say, on this Banner Valley Hauling J&J Steel car. Man, oh man, Scott Bloomquist in 2004 won 9 races en route to the championship. No driver has ever won more than 9 in a season. At the rate you're going right now, that record is going to be shattered, eclipsed, broken, call it what you want. Steve, Timmy, and the entire crew have put together one heck of a car here. You got the chief here with you for good luck as well. I'll tell you what, everything has been your way all year long. Could have been possibly your 4th in a row at Virginia last week. You and Jeremy battling, tire went down, but nevertheless come right back here tonight after a 17th place run. That's a heck of a job. You guys have just been on such a roll.
You know, I just can't say enough about these guys. You know, all the names on the side of this car that help us. You know, I can't do it without them. Just everything's going right. You know, this new car we designed over the winter, Victory Circle out there, California, has worked with me, done a heck of a job, and Clements engines under the hood that, you know, we switched to that over the winter. Can't say enough about them things. You know, they run hard, dependable. Hoosier tires, Olin shocks, and everything else on this thing. The BSB bird cages we went to is kind of a different deal over the winter too, and the guys helped me a lot, and I haven't said much about him. And my graphic guy here, New Vision Graphic in Arkansas, there where I'm from, that's helped us with keeping this thing looking like something. And Chief there, the Universal Concrete guy, he's a big part of helping us out, along with the Mink Show Palace there on the front on our engine program, and Banner Valley, J&J, everybody else on this car. They can't do it without them. And you know, everything's going our way. We you know, we had a little bad luck there last weekend. Jeremy did a heck of a job. You know, I don't know if I'd beat him anyway if the tire wouldn't went down, but it'd been interesting. You know, so who knows? But you know, we left there, and Ed Free over here let us use his shop for a couple days right over down the road over here, Franklin Rear Ends, and you know, we got to clean stuff up, go over everything, and you know, my guys working on this thing. You know, just everything's nothing's falling off, nothing's breaking. You know, we've done our homework, I guess.
And on top of all that, you got the Sunday night wind tunnel karma.
yeah, that. That was fun doing that. Dave's so good at what he does that it just makes it easy to sit there and answer questions, act like you know what you're doing.
Well, you look like you've known what you're doing since you come out of the box back in January down at Golden Isles, and ever since then, the year has just been fantastic. What's next, Billy? We go to Lebanon and Monette, not too far away from the homestead. You going to be there?
Oh, I probably will. We have plans of going there. You know, we're just see what happens. I don't know. We're still undecided on what we're doing here, even with the rest of the year. So, you know, the way things are going, and you know, these guys put together a good program. The World Outlaw people, dirt, and you know, it's a long way some of the traveling from where I live. But you know, we just got to see what we're going to do there, and hopefully next in line we'll go down here to Charlotte and get a good run down there. That's a big payday there. So you know, if everything keeps going good and you know, everything holds together, hopefully we can get one more down there at least.
Well, you've thrown your hat in for the Colossal. Before I bring Gary in here, what about the Firecracker? Will we see Billy Moyer here at Lernerville at the end of June?
Well, I believe we will. You know, there's a lot of...
Wait a minute. I believe we will? $40,000, Billy.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yes. Well, you know, when we come on this swing, and that was in the back of my mind of, you know, I've ran here a few times for sure, but I've never had this car here, so we wanted to come and get our feet wet, have a little, some notes to go by to, you know, planning on coming back for the Firecracker. So, you know, the good Lord willing, we should be back, yes.
Well, I think not only did you get them wet, you got them soaked here in Victory Lane Sheets. Victory Lane, Gary Riss Jr., promoter of Lernerville Speedway, to present the check. Gary?
Well, Billy, it's congratulations on a great race. Track was perfect for everybody tonight. I just appreciate you coming up and hope to see you back here for the Firecracker.
I appreciate it. Thank you. We have plans of coming back. If everything falls in line right, we'll be back. And yeah, people got to see a good race. Track's in good shape. You know, you've had a lot of rain, I know, in the first race of the year, and you know, it's super. I think dirt track's supposed to have a bump or two in anyway, so I like them.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Thanks. Congratulations.
Donnie Geller signaling to the right drivers that next time around we'll get this show on the go. Scott Meyers and David Lyon bring the field to life as they thunder down the front stretch into turn number 1. And Pegger spins in turn 2. Couple of cars involved with him. Mike Pegger Jr. in the 1C, the 22 of Bump Headman. Scott Meyers and David Lyon, the 10 and the 29 at the stripe in turn 4 on the gas, and we're back racing. And not for long. This time it's Jim Frank and the Ford. Hank and Frank together up in 1 and 2. And Dave Lyon probably saying, haven't we done this before, as they bring the field to turn 4. Green is we have made it through turn 1 and turn 2. Down the back straightaway. Dave Lyon, your leader. Daniel Angelicchio and Scotty Meyers battling for second. Angelicchio second, Meyers third. Bobby Powell fourth. Mike Pegger Jr. moves to fifth. Then it's Bump Headman, Carl McKinney, Jim Frank charging back up through the field as well. David Lyon out of Corey, Pennsylvania, your leader. Mike Pegger Jr. in the Cochran Automotive 1C to the inside and moving to fourth. Big lead for Lyon. Angelicchio second, Powell third. Bump Headman has moved into the top 5 in the 22 car. And Bryant Hank pulls to the infield in car 28. Bryant Hank out of the race in car 28. David Lyon a straightaway lead. Bump Headman trying to put a little heat on Mike Pegger Jr. for fourth. 15 laps to go. Angelicchio, your second place car, sideways. He saves it. He's still second, but he lost some ground, and now Headman and Pegger wheel to wheel right behind Bobby Powell and Daniel Angelicchio. Headman moving up to fourth. Headman now to the low side of Bobby Powell, and he'll slide up the racetrack in third. We got a spin. Tyler Dietz in the 10 car, turned around in turn 2. Caution is out 7 laps down. It will be night, and although they're not supposed to be Delaware double foul, what the heck? They want to race that way, we'll let them race that way. The green is out. Bump Headman moves to second. Bobby Powell now around Angelicchio for third. Angelicchio gets back by him in turn 3. Pegger still fifth. And then it's McKinney, Meyers, Frank, and Dietz. Battle for the lead, Bump Headman. Putting the pressure on David Lyon. Bobby Powell to the outside of Daniel Angelicchio, third and fourth, wheel to wheel coming off of 4. It's Angelicchio. Now Pegger slides into the 4th spot and Powell ends up 5th. Halfway this time, 10 laps to go, 10 to go. Oh, Pegger and Powell slam wheels coming off of 4. They're still going straight, and they're still wheel-to-wheel now. Pager gets ahead of Powell down the back straightaway, and here comes Carl McKinney trying to move by Bobby Powell for 5th. Bobby Powell around Pager now for 4th. Pager 5th, and it's Jim Frank and Carl McKinney side by side for 6th. Almost 3 wide now for 5th between Pager, McKinney, and Frank. David Lyon continues to lead, and Bump Headman following his every move, right with the race leader, 7 laps to go. Daniel Angelicchio by himself now in 3rd. Carl McKinney trying to break into the top 5 in the 6M. Here comes Bump Headman to the inside of David Lyon, and he will lead them off of 4. Lyon back around Headman in 1 and 2. Five laps to go. Headman unable to make it stick on the inside this time. He'll lose ground to the race leader, the Lias Tire 26 of David Lyon. Bobby Powell, your 4th place car, to the inside of Daniel Angelicchio, who still runs 3rd. Not by much as they race off at turn 2. McKinney 5th, Pager's dropped back to 6th, Jim Frank is 7th. Angelicchio sideways off of 4, and he will spin the car. He saves it, though. He saves it, but he loses 4 spots. Ends up back in 7th. It's Daniel Angelicchio, who was running 3rd. Less than 3 laps to go, David Lyon. Has been the leader from the start. Has led all but the first lap. Oh, it's true, he lost the 1 lap. Bump Headman led lap 14. He's led all but lap 14. Headman was able to get by him briefly off the 4th turn on lap 14. Coming to the white flag and about to lap Tyler Dietz at the same time. Bobby Powell 3rd. Carl McKinney 4th. Mike Pager Jr. 5th. Out of Corey, David Lyon down the back straightaway with Bump Headman 4 car lengths behind in 2nd. Lyon will follow Dietz off at turn 4, duck to his inside and lap him as he takes the checkered flag in the UMP Pro Late Model win. Bump Headman 2nd. The B1D of Bobby Powell gets 3rd. Carl McKinney finishes 4th, and Mike Pager Jr. 5th. Gets the thumbs up as he crosses the scales.
Yeah, and then they didn't see him because he went down under the deck.
All right, he pulls into victory lane. American Racers, the tire of choice for David Lyon. 3 tire options here for the UMP Pro Late Models. How about a nice hand, folks, for David Lyon, your winner in the UMP Pro Late Models in the Showdown in Sarvertown. Weathered the storm from Bump Headman and brought her here to the Sheets victory lane. David, welcome to Sheets victory lane at Lernerville Speedway.
Thank you, everybody. I got to thank my uncle, my wife's, my other uncle, and Harry. It's been 4 years since I've been here.
It was a World of Outlaw race.
Broke
You were
my
driving
foot.
a car number 14, I remember, a turn 2.
Yeah, broke my foot, shattered it, and I told myself I'd never go back. Well, there's a reason why I come back, to come back and win.
Congratulations. How long have you been in this car, the Crate Late Model?
This is the 5th night out.
You made the choice tonight, American Racers.
I wanted to go with something the hardest I can get.
much different from driving a super late model to a crate late model?
They're very finicky. You can't, like heat race time, you can't get them, you got to get them free enough where you can turn the corner and keep the RPMs up. Because if you don't, the thing dogs, you push, it's all over the place. But when it's slippery like this, it's just like driving a regular late model.
Aren't you glad you came back?
Oh, I am.
We'll hope to see you again next month.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations. David Line, folks, your winner in the UMP Pro Late Models.